Now the music world can sometimes get quite dark and tragic, and I don't think you can get much more tragic than the story of Sid and Nancy. So I'm going to do a Nancy Spungen look today. A look probably not to everyone's cup of tea, but I mean YouTube's massive. There's millions of other tutorials you could be watching, but I'm going to do a Nancy Spungen look today. Yeah, so I'm going to get started, and I'm going to begin with a Makeup Forever HD foundation. Now this is quite a light foundation, light in shade, because Nancy had quite a light complexion. Now I've got quite a light complexion, so I'm not making myself too much lighter, but just a little bit. I'm just using my Louise Young, big fat Louise Young foundation brush. Now just to give you a quick lowdown if you aren't aware of Nancy Spungen or the Sid and Nancy story. Nancy Spungen was the girlfriend of Sid Vicious, who was the bassist for the Sex Pistols. And the relationship soon became quite violent because of they were heavy drug users at the time, and the controversial side of the story is when Nancy, in the late 70s, Nancy was found dead in the bathroom, and from a stab wound, and Sid Vicious was apparently the only person there at the time, and the knife was, they traced the knife, that the knife belonged to him, and he was arrested, and while awaiting trial for the death of, after being accused of killing Nancy, by not just from the authorities, from the public eye, he was found dead from a drugs overdose. Whether it was suicide or accidental, it's not really been proven, although there was a alleged suicide note found in his coat pocket. But it's never really been proven, and so far I don't think Nancy's murder has ever been fully solved. But I think the whole sort of understanding of it is that they had a bit too much of everything, if you like, and you know, just whether he killed her accidentally, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna. It happened before my time. I'm not gonna. But apart from all the drugs and stuff, Nancy loved her makeup, so and she wore quite a lot of it, and I'd say she had her own signature look, if you like. Kind of like a sort of like a rough 80s kind of look. It was the time was between it was in the late 70s. That's sort of moving into punk and glam era. So it's quite an interesting look. So that's why I've decided to do it today. Now for my brows, what I'm only going to do is take a little spoolie brush and just brush them. Now Nancy had very fine brows. They were almost like a sort of 20s style brow. They were quite fine and very sort of arched. Now I don't really have fine brows, and whether Nancy deliberately plucked them into that shape, I don't know, but I think that the brows weren't really like a standout in her look. They were just kept quite fine, and I'm just gonna shape mine. Okay, I'm gonna use two base shadows. I'm gonna use Quite Natural by MAC, which is a paint pot, and I've got this. It's new. Well, new to me. I haven't really used it that much. You may have seen it been advertised on the TV a few times. It's the Maybelline Colour 24 Tattoo by iStudio. It's like that. It's just like a nice taupey shadow. Whether it lasts 24 hours, I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it a go. So I'm going to mix these two together. This is going to give me sort of like a, I don't know, kind of a sepia eye. I've got a MAC 239. I'm just going to get this onto the lid, and roughly, because this isn't going to be the eyeshadow part. The eyeshadow bit's going to come a bit later. This is going to be like the base. This is going to give me like a sort of, I don't know, that sort of cool worse to wear look. So once you've got that those shadows on, just take a soft brush, I'm using a MAC 217, and just work it into the socket and just really blend it out. Okay, I'm going to use a brown eyeshadow next. I've decided to use Shiramura medium brown eyeshadow. And I'm still going to use my MAC 217, and I'm going to use this. Start off on the outer V of the corner of my eye, and then work it along the crease. And then right down as well into the corner of my eye. Nancy often kept the crease part quite heavy, so keep working it in along here. Okay, I have a black eyeshadow. This is just from Bourjois, but any black will do, because Nancy loved black. Got a Louis Vuitton fine liner brush, and I'm gonna take it along this lash line here, and also down as well. And then of course you want to blend it out. Nothing about this look is truly neat, so make sure you've got no neat sharp lines in this look. If you want to sort of learn a bit more about the story of Sid and Nancy, although I don't know how true it was to the actual original story, but I saw the film Sid and Nancy with Gary Oldman playing Sid, quite a young Gary Oldman, that I saw it the other day, and yeah, it was good, and it seemed quite accurate. I don't know how accurate it is to the actual true story, but yeah, I would recommend it. And still moving on to the black, I want to take it into crease there and darken the crease further. Okay, I have Vanilla, which is a light shadow by MAC. I'm going to plot this on the ball of the eye here. And I'm just using a, I don't know, it's a cheap eyeshadow brush. And take this up here as well to highlight. And then moving back on to 217, just work that in. Okay, now for black liner, lots of it. I have a Gemma Kid Define eyeliner in black. I'm going to begin by taking this just in the waterline to begin with. And then what I'm going to do now is sort of take roughly, bring it below the lash line. And then use a brush with your finger and just roughly get it really, really rough. And what I think I'm going to do is, I often saw Nancy, because the majority of Nancy's pictures were in black and white, so often her makeup looked heavy anyway, no matter what colour she was using, but she liked colour, and she looked like she often quite liked sparkle and glam. So what I'm going to do is, I've got Barry Dazzle Dust in number 8, I think. And I'm just going to take a tiny little bit, and where I've done the vanilla on the highlight of the eye, I'm just going to press it just here. Mascara, I'm using Rimmel Sexy Curves. Don't worry if you clump it. Nancy wasn't ignorant to any part of her makeup. Wherever she could put makeup on, she just put it on. So eyes were heavy, cheeks were heavy, and lips were heavy. So gonna go for quite a strong blush. La Femme blush, number 1. She often did her blush like so. She kept it quite high. Not too blended out, but quite intense as well. So about there. I'm no bigger than that. She kept like a little spot of blush. Now for lipstick. Now I don't think you really want to bother with a lip liner or a lip brush. I think Nancy just whacked on her lipstick, and she loved her lipstick, but it looked like it was very overdrawn her lips, and it looked to me as if she had just whacked on a bit of lipstick. So I have here, I think I'm going to use Coral Fire by Maybelline. Now if you put on your lipstick and think, oh that looks a bit too much, then that's a perfect for Nancy. She loved lipstick. Actually, what I think I'm going to do, is I think I can make the eyes look a little bit darker. So I have a Louis Vuitton tapered brush, and I've got some Barry dust in number 11, which is just a black dust really. And I'm going to take this further into the socket, and just to darken it a bit further. Now I know it's not the most flattering of looks, and I think for a Nancy Spungen look you probably do need a blonde wig, but I hope makeup wise it sort of resembles Nancy. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching if you've watched all the way through. I hope you're all well, and I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.